Hey, Dr. Jeff, one of my questions for you is I wake up, I'm a kind of high energy guy. I'm known for high energy guy, but man, there are days it takes a lot of work to have this kind of energy. I'm confused as to why I might be so tired when I get like 8 hours of sleep a night.
So my first question would be, if you were to present in my practice, is, what's the benefit of having more energy? Like, what would be the benefit? What are you looking forward to?
I could take on the world. No, I'm kidding. I'd have more energy at 6 o'clock at night when, the kids are home from school and I'm like half falling asleep in the massage chair by the fire because it's nice and warm. And I would rather have the energy to interact with them more.
All right, and then I would talk to you about like, what's your sleep habits? Do you tend to go to bed at the same time every night, get up at the same time?
Yep.
And do you feel like you have energy when you get up?
No.
And then in how many hours do you tend to spend in bed?
7 to 8.
So you get a good quantity of sleep, but my suspicion would be that you have poor quality of sleep. And the only way to figure that out would be to do a sleep test on you.
Which ironically we did last night.
Right. And so what did we discover from that?
That 172 times last night I choked and suffocated.
And were you aware that you did that?
No, I mean I had handprints. No, I didn't have handprints around my neck. My wife didn't try and kill me last night, but no, it blew me away. I mean, I know I snore because my wife tells me that, but I had no idea how disruptive, because of how frequent it was, that it was impacting my sleep.
So based on the number of hours that you were in bed and dividing and just doing simple math, on average it was 22 times per hour, or about every 3 minutes. But the good news, because we don't want to make this seem really bleak, is when it happened, you weren't very long below 90% blood oxygen. But when we factor in how many times your body was waking you up out of whatever stage of sleep you were at because you were not breathing well, the number went up significantly. And whenever I see that, that is very indicative of someone who's got fragmented sleep, someone that can respond well if they just have better breathing. So if you just, I'm not promising that the oral appliance is your answer, but if you got better oxygenation during sleep and you weren't getting woken up physiologically, 240 sometimes, because you were choking and suffocating a lot of those times, but you had more arousals when it was just someone like pumping you in the rib cage. The other thing that was interesting in your study is it seemed to be positionally related. So when you were on your back, it was super bad. And when you're on your left, it was a little bit better. So my encouragement for you is, let's try to keep you on your left side. Let's make a device that's going to protect your teeth, because you were, and you didn't disclose that to me until today, you were wearing an oral appliance during sleep last night. And the American College of Prosthodontists in 2006 advocated before any night guards made that a sleep study's completed first, because we don't want to put a sheet of glass between people's teeth. Now, I don't recall if I was the one that made that night guard for you, but I don't ever recall you saying you'd had a sleep test before.
Nope.
And so have you had your night guard made at post 2006?
2005, maybe 6 would be my guess.
So that's kind of the first piece of the puzzle, is getting some sleep testing equipment in your office, because we need to make this convenient for people. Every day occlusal guards are probably diagnosed in a practice because we see clenching and bruxism. And I'm not saying that it's always related to sleep breathing disorders, but oftentimes it's something that happens after we've had an event. So we need to rule it out. And the only way to do that is to evaluate sleep with some type of sleep testing device.
It was interesting that, as a final thought here, is, my perception is, if I'm going to get a sleep test, I'm going to go into some room where there's glass over there, someone's watching me, it's a little bit weird, and I have a million things attached to me. And in this case, I had something a little bit bigger than an Apple Watch on my wrist, a little probe on my finger, and then a little probe on my chest, and it was really not inconvenient at all. It didn't change the comfort terribly by any stretch of the imagination. It was a relatively simple process, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, so that test that you used was called a Watch Pat. It's made by a company called Itamar Medical, a huge medical device manufacturer. And their 3 marketing things is it's simple, it's accurate, and reliable. So we know it's easy for the patient to use, and because of that, we only see it fail 1 or 2% of the time. So that's why we only do a single night study. And also, the Harvard Medical School has studied that particular technology and found it to be almost 90% of an in-lab study. So we get less data, but probably a more representative average night's sleep because you're at home in your own bed in your own environment. The other common question is, well, I sleep next to somebody that snores. Do I have to sleep in a different room? And I say, no, you want to do whatever normal is, because the way the microphones are set up, it's only going to pick up the person that's wearing the device. The other question that comes up is, well, I usually have 3 or 4 beers. Should I not drink tonight? I'm like, well, if you always have 3 or 4 beers, just do whatever normal is. And that may be playing a role in their sleep, but we want to see what that is. So we want to get a good baseline because we're going to go forward with something to see, are we really helping you?
Interesting. The whole process has been fascinating. It sort of confirmed what I guessed would be the case, that there's a reason why I'm waking up tired. And it's nice to be able to put science behind it. I appreciate you taking the time to, out of a crazy travel schedule, you travel more than I do, to come here to not only test it, but then to spend some time here with our audience to show people and give them some insight around sleep. And to have someone like you who is such an expert in the field is just, it's a great honor. I'm grateful.
Well, I'm thankful to do it because I think it was shocking to me to realize we've been friends for like over 20 years. So
yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's been a long time. So I hope you found this to be helpful. In the background, you can see the Sleep Group Solutions information, so you can contact them if you have questions, you want to learn more, take a class, give Dr. Jeff a call. Everything will be available through their website. And, I would suggest to you, if you've never been tested, get yourself tested. For all you doctors watching, you might be blown away. You might be like me, feeling tired when you wake up, not knowing why, and you might just be undiagnosed as well. So my advice would be to reach out to Dr. Jeff through their organization and get yourself tested to find out what you're really all about, and then it'll give you a different understanding as to how to treat your patients.
And that's really why I travel so much, is because we're so busy as dentists that it's hard to take 2 days out of our practice. And so what I've been doing lately, Darren, is I combine the online modules. So if I can just get a team to watch the first 3 or 4 hours, and then block a half-a-day team meeting, I will come to your practice. I will send the sleep testing devices just like you did last night in advance, and we'll review the sleep test for your doctor, your team, yourself, your spouse, whoever it is. But as Sleep Group Solutions, when we start this program in an office, we want those first patients to be our family members. We want to get every team member tested because you're going to identify that one person who's got a complaint that no one's addressed. And if you can help them, they then become your champion. They're your coordinator. They want to run that department. And it's a beautiful thing about sleep is 90% of the work can be delegated to an auxiliary who's trained in how to do this. And the dentist comes in and gives kind of the final blessing to it.
That's awesome. I hope you found this to be helpful. If you have more questions, there'll be more videos online about this, or just hit up the SGS website. Thanks for tuning in.